Welcome to the Institute of Plastic Surgery in Karachi. So today we are having our third CME. This workshop is on hair transplant, especially with the FUE technique. We have a participation of about 20 to 30 people who will be watching this program, which is going to be run live, and it will be telecast straight from the operating theatre to the hall. There will be lectures which will be telling the participants the basic background about hair transplant and then specifically about the FUE technique. Our participants are mainly plastic surgeons from around Karachi and other places, and also other doctors who are interested in hair transplants. We also have a concomitant PRP session going on today, and there will be a gentleman, Dr. Pedro, coming from Spain, who will be talking about the latest techniques using PRP for hair transplant and other areas of the body rejuvenation. Now we have marked this gentleman, and you can see the marking. Okay, and we measure the distance between the orbital margin, and this is approximately 7 centimeters. Okay, the other simple technique is just to take your fingers and put 4 fingers above the base of the nose or the glabella area. Okay, the other way of checking is अगर आप भंवरे ऊपर करें, हाँ ऐसे. If you look at the wrinkles, then about 1 to 2 centimeters above the wrinkles should be the hairline. And then we have made markings of how we are going to rearrange the hair. So in the front hairline, the follicles will be single follicles, and they will be denser packed. And as you go back, the follicles will be larger in size, with 2 or 3 or 4 even hairs. And depending on number of hairs we have, we can decrease the density. So with this, we are now going into operating theatre. Thank you very much. Ideally, the person who makes the slits should be the one who actually feeds it as well. In the front, you want to see each hair separately, and you see it because the front in the front you can see the hairs growing. In the back you can't see the single follicle because वो सारे एक mass बन जाता है. It's like a jungle. उसके अंदर भले you want density, you don't want individual. ठीक है. In the front you want artistic look. It should look natural. ठीक है. And now we're just placing the hairs, and you have to be careful the way you do it. As I was saying earlier, there are 2 ways of doing it. Either one can use forceps, or you can use special pushers. And the key thing here is not to damage the root. Otherwise, if the root is damaged, then you've lost your graft. So we're now putting the graft in the slits. Okay, and there are 2 ways of doing it. One using the forceps, the other one is using the graft pusher. And we're using the forceps. This is a faster way of doing it. But you need more experience, and your technique has to be good. The other method is using these pushers, and they cause less damage to the graft, but they are more time consuming. Okay, so we'll just continue finishing the slits now and putting the grafts in. Okay.
And you can see here how the growth factors are being released. This is an example of one of them. The growth factor, the fibrin membrane is being released, is being degraded, and in time you have these levels of growth factors. And after 7 to 8 days, that's when it starts decaying. I'm going to go quickly through this because this is a bit of history, probably you already know. And the first growth factor was discovered in the Italy Montachini, and then one of his collaborators or disciples keep working on that. But I'm going to Marx, which was the father, let's say, father of the PRP. So, what were the problems with at that time with the PRPs? There was the need of high amount of blood to concentrate the platelets. And we have a leukocyte-free formulation. With our product, with our system, you obtain a virtually free concentration of leukocyte-free concentration. And why leukocytes are not the best thing for tissue regeneration or healing? Because they release pro-inflammatory cytokines to recruit more leukocytes, and they also release metalloproteases, which tend to degrade extracellular matrix, which is one of the components that we need for tissue regeneration. And that's very important. They maintain the inflammation if you don't remove them. And they are critical in the initial stages of the inflammatory process. They do a lot of functions. They do phagocyting, cell killing, bacterial killing. They are very good when you have an infection, for example. They are the first response to infection. So you can see here the platelet content in both systems, more or less the same, platelet count, and the leukocyte content. And cell migration, this is very important as well because we need cell migration to regenerate tissues.
Assalamu alaikum. We are now doing the session of hair transplant CME today, a workshop on hair transplant which has already started, and we have over 20 participants in the lecture hall which are watching this live, this procedure live. And we are doing PRP on this gentleman, and we are also doing a hair transplant using the FEW technique today. Thank you very much.
The patient has a problem of hypercholesterolemia. In that cases, we do not recommend to use that plasma for any procedure, but we recommend the doctor to tell the patient to go and have a proper check of blood parameters and be treated for this condition. Yes, you follow the same procedure, but you need a couple more steps after that. Instead of activation, what you do is just to collect from one tube, you collect F1 and F2, and F1 from the other tube. So you only leave F2 of one tube. That's in one tube. In the other tube, because you have two white tubes, in the other tube you collect F2 of the last tube that you have. A base with the fibrin membrane and the growth factors all around it. That's what you infiltrate. Yes, because each unit is 10 microliters. If you have 1 ml, you have 1,000 microliters. So divided by 10 is 100 units.